So without further ado, I want to introduce our first speaker. Fresh off his 27th anniversary with Rainmaker, Brandon has done every imaginable role with CIMS, from mapping, GIS, programming, help desk, marketing, sales, and there's probably others. So the guy in this room that probably needs no introduction, Brandon Finley.
Thank you very much, Curtis, and thank you everyone for joining us for our 14th conference. Every year, just before we start planning this, I'm nervous if anyone's going to show up, and every year I'm withdrawn. So thank you very much for joining us. First, a little bit of history. This was our first conference back in 2006. We held it in our office in Sauk City. We had roughly 20 people come to that, and that was many more people than we anticipated at that time. There's a few people in these pictures here that are in this room today, so that's just amazing to me. And some facts about the rest of the people in this room. So this year we had 96 people sign up for the user conference, 10 more than our last event, and significantly more than our 2006 event. It's really neat to see this grow and see the cemeteries modernizing their cemetery records. A variety of different cemetery types here today. You can see the biggest chunk is municipal, but a variety of different cemeteries, all different backgrounds. We try to make our software work for all different types of cemetery operations. And then, what version of our program are the people in this room using? It's kind of dominated by CIMS Platinum. That's our flagship software that has the GIS mapping. So of the 96 people here, 72 of them are using Platinum, and if you add the ones that are using a combination, it's a pretty big percentage of it. Because of that, you'll see, a lot of what we'll talk about today will be centered around Platinum mapping. We are just trying to focus our presentations on what the majority of our users are. A big variety of different sizes of cemeteries. This is based on acreage here. Little small 1 acre cemeteries to 100 acres plus. Again, we try to make our software work for different types of operations. This one I thought was interesting. Of all the people that are here, 70 of you are first timers. And it's your first time at a user conference. That's pretty neat. That's inspiring to me, that we're able to draw people. And then we have 26 people who've come here, been here in the past. So pretty cool. And we have people from 18 states here today, really all over the country. This is really just amazing to me. I made a map showing where people that are in this room today came from. Some of you traveled great distances. So thank you so much for joining us. So let's talk about where we're at today. Today we have 979 cemeteries live on CIMS Cloud. We're approaching the magic 1,000 number. We're really excited about that. Compared to 665 back in 2021, and really 0 back in 2016 when we started transitioning cemeteries to the cloud. Back in those days, I spent a lot of time explaining to people what the cloud was, why it was safe, why it made sense to actually have your cemetery records on a website, and the benefits of all that. Today, I spend a lot less time doing that. And then we also have 237 cemeteries using burial search. That is and I'm not sure if everyone in this room is aware that exists, but if you ever data in CIMS, it's pretty easy and inexpensive for you to make it available to the public so they can look up burials and actually use their phone to navigate where that burial is in the cemetery. And we have some presentations today that will go into more depth on that. So over the years, our team has grown and changed. We have some new faces on our team. We are up to 11 people now supporting CIMS, a variety of different backgrounds, GIS mapping folks, customer success folks. Most of the CIMS team is sitting back in that corner, but today if you have questions and you're not comfortable asking them to this large room, don't hesitate to reach out to anybody wearing a CIMS shirt and you can get your question answered. I mean, I know a a lot of people I talk to are here because they have questions. So we want to make sure we can answer them to your satisfaction. Some other exciting changes that have been going on with our team is, so for many years, Rainmaker was headquartered in Sauk City, Wisconsin. Our company transitioned a little bit during COVID. We're primarily working remote. Most of the CIMS team works out of their house. We have a few people living out of state, but our company transitioned its headquarters to Madison, Wisconsin, and that became official this year. So we have kind of a downtown Madison office, and we're there on occasion for meetings and things like that. And hopefully you guys are aware of these things and reading the newsletters that we're sending out. So let's talk about the plan for today. First of all, upcoming presentations this morning. Nathan and Tim are going to speak about new features added to CIMS since the last conference. Since we got together 2 years ago, we've added a lot of bells and whistles and things to make CIMS easier and more efficient for you to use. But we're going to take a dive into that, just to make sure everybody's comfortable with that. And then Nathan's going to take some time, and Nathan is our lead programmer here, but talk about new features coming in CIMS. Things that are going to be released shortly after this user conference. You're going to get a sneak preview. A portion of that will be dedicated to, we're making a bit of a transition here. For many years, we kind of avoided getting into the financial world with CIMS. And we're taking our first step into adding some invoicing capabilities with CIMS and all the things that have to go on behind the scenes to make that happen. So our CIMS invoicing capabilities, we're calling that CIMS Ledger. And Nathan's going to give everyone a peek at that. And then lastly, before lunch, we will do some roundtable discussions. That will be in the room over there, where you will be sitting at a table with about 6 other cemeterians, and we have a variety of discussion topics. We do this every time, honestly, primarily because when we do our surveys after the conference, it's determined to be one of the most valuable things about coming here. So we keep doing that. And then after lunch this afternoon, Sarah Daly is going to give a presentation on Burial Search. That's the public portal. We've done some major upgrades on that, so she'll be sharing that information. And then after that, I invited a guest speaker, Todd Maddox from Cooperative Funeral Fund is here. So I've got to know Todd by going to cemetery conferences over the years, and I saw him do a presentation on financial planning for cemeteries. And I'm like, this is something that will be valuable to our users and interesting, and also ties into what we're doing with CIMS Ledger. So I invited Todd to do a presentation today on financial planning. After that, we're moving on to breakout sessions. So we are gonna, this is also a new thing for us. We're taking the folks in the room and dividing, the idea is you can check out the content that's most relevant to you. We have a CIMS 101 room, which will be primarily for new users, and I know there's a handful of folks here who are just kind of in the process of implementing CIMS. I think that'll be most suitable for you. This is going to be pretty basic CIMS things like how to sell a space, how to add a burial, and in a smaller room where you'll be, maybe a little more conversational. At the same time, going on, we're going to have a CIMS 301 presentation. That's for advanced CIMS users. Tips and tricks and things you might not know that they existed. And then finally, the third breakout room is CIMS Ledger. And that will be a deep dive into our financial module that's coming in the near future, how to generate invoices, how to correctly account for the funds on those invoices, what percent goes to perpetual care, things like that. So a deep dive into that. So anyone that's interested in the future using CIMS for more financial tracking, I strongly encourage you to check that one out. Finally, Curtis. Curtis is our veteran. He's been with the CIMS team almost as long as I have. He's going to do a presentation on technology, and Curtis is the smartest person I know in the technology world and knows about things coming down the pike and what you can do to protect your records and do things right with your computer, so I'll be talking about that. And finally, our last topic before we end the day will be, what do you want to see in future versions of CIMS? This is kind of a conversational I like this to be conversational where you can suggest something that's bugging you in CIMS, it would be a better way we can do it, ways we can improve it. This is, selfishly, this is the most valuable part of the conference for us, because we learn from you and what kinds of things that we can do in the future to make our software better. So, why do we put on the user conference? There's a few key reasons, but number one, bring our clients up to speed with what's coming in CIMS. No matter how many newsletters we send out, I still feel like there's folks that don't know about features and the best way to do things, best practices. We want to share that here. Number two, second most important thing, provide an opportunity for you to network with other cemeteries. Everyone in this room, I strongly encourage you to join your state cemetery association. Hopefully you have one. But they are great resources for best practices in cemeteries, laws, things like that. But you're also in the room here today with almost 100 other cemeteries. So this is a great place where you can pick people's brains and things like that. Bottom line, we want to provide knowledge to help you do your job better, more effectively, better serve families. That's why everyone works at a cemetery. To provide that. So we want to help you with that. And lastly, this is our selfish reason, give you a voice so we can learn what to do in our software to make it better and more usable for you. And get feedback on things that aren't working right and plan our next round of updates. Last, I just want to take a moment to congratulate, it's about 9 cemeteries that have been in the room today that have been with us for over 20 years. If you could just take a moment and stand up, this blows my mind. So, Bluff City Cemetery from Elgin, Illinois. Evergreen Cemetery from Gulfport, Mississippi. A little side story there, there's an interesting one, I'm not even sure if you're aware. They just started implementing cemetery software before Hurricane Katrina hit. And fortunately, it scanned a bunch of the records right before everything was destroyed. So it's a neat story. Calvary Cemetery from Eau Claire. Riverside Cemetery in Appleton. St. Francis Borgia Cemetery for Cedarburg. And Lake Forest City Cemetery. At the city of Berlin, Wisconsin, the Berlin Municipal Cemetery. And Lake Delton Cemetery, probably the closest cemetery here today. And finally, Hillside Cemetery from Marshfield. So thank you so much. It's truly an honor to help you do the wonderful job you do.